Hi folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of the React series. We're looking this week at Jack Reacher, particularly the film, Jack Reacher, the first film, starring Tom Cruise, written by Lee Child. Incredible film, in my opinion. Say what you want about Tom Cruise, but I love the character of Jack Reacher, and I particularly love the way he plays him. That kind of all-knowing, all-seeing, cocky. No, not cocky's probably the wrong word. Cocksure is probably a better word. Attitude that he has with the overarching belief in his skill set and what he does, because the proof is in the pudding. He, in terms of the business language, he can provide proof of concept immediately in exactly what he does. So we've got a couple of compilations coming at you over the next couple of days. The best detective-y bits from the film, because the action's also fun, but we're focusing on the detective-based elements here.
I was hoping to get a better sense of who the victims were, that is to say, who they were as people, as human beings.
That's a bit unusual.
See, already, first of all, right, you've got a combination of a couple of things going on. The insight that Reacher has in order to use his imagination to get inside the scenario of what exactly is going on, to play it out with the actions of James Barr within the scenario of him apparently shooting these five people. That's juxtaposed against the emotional dynamic here with Rosario Dawson's That's juxtaposed here with Miss Roden's, I think that's her name, Rosamund Pike, her character, interviewing one of the families here, and you get the real display of these people who can act on such an incredible level. The short intake of breath, embracing herself for what she's been told that she has to say, and you can see on this guy's face the real mixture of sadness in the oblique eyebrows with the anger that he's about to show in a second.
Considering your position, isn't it?
That is true. Normally, someone in my position would want the jury to know as little as possible about them.
The people that your client killed in cold blood. Have you spoken with the other families?
Yes, the ones who would speak with me.
You can see the supplicant gesture to her behavior as well. You see it a lot in the canine community. The fact that he didn't blink there, that should be the real telltale sign that this guy has gone from sadness to rage. So what's Reacher doing here, right? He's walking the scene, right? Exactly, and it's a nice way for him to understand the pragmatics of exactly what's going on. But from a Sherlockian standpoint, what's he doing? He's eliminating the impossible. Whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Thinking of it tactically, because Jack Reacher is a proficient shooter as well. love how brooding this is, this foreboding the whole time, even though he's just walking the scene inside of his head. Place where the gun was laid. Firepower ammunition. So what's he doing here, right? When you're eliminating the impossible, you're basing that upon the elements that you know to be irrefutable. Here, as we'll understand later on as part of the film, he compares this with what he knows to be true about James Barr, having interviewed him and interrogated him beforehand for his crimes when he was engaged in the war-based stuff that he did overseas. I forget whether it was Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan, somewhere like that, where he killed those people in cold blood. Yeah, it's a lot like those moments where somebody is trying to convince you of a certain element that you know to be spurious. You see it a lot in our work as mentalists and as deductionists, when I've already figured out that you are thinking of this certain aspect, and then I query you on the topic. I'm getting a sense for the displays of your non-verbals when telling me lies for me to use later on as part of the work. So I'm eliminating the impossible, and whatever remains as a result of that, I learn about your behavior. Same thing he is applying here to this case. We eliminate the impossible in terms of a trained sniper taking that shot from this location wouldn't work specifically. So he's going to be adding up those elements to the cluster of traits that he is developing in order to figure out the best possible vantage point to make that clean getaway, like he knows and understands Mr. Barr would have been able to do.
Thanks for letting me take a look. Hey, we love it when friends of the accused try to tear our work to shreds. He's not my friend. So you keep saying. You found any holes? Well, you didn't have to put him in the hospital.
See, what I like about this that's coming up, and we'll watch it together in a second, it's the process that Chris Voss intimates in terms of tactical empathy, but flipped on its head slightly. It's sort of a running theme throughout with Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher character saying that we're not friends, so he has no personal investment in any of this. His emotional qualities are not antagonistic to clear reasoning. He's got no emotional qualities invested in here, so he's looking at this purely in terms of an evidential angle. Data, data, data. I cannot make bricks without clay, so the clay bricks that he is making are formed solely on the evidence as it's presented to him, right? So he gets to analyze that for exactly what it is, without any biases towards this guy that he's being told randomly murdered 5 people.
Other than that, damn fine police work. It's open and shut. What can I say? Scene was a gold mine. Come on. And we both know gold's only as good as man digging. Yeah, well, anytime you want to come back, take a look at this stuff. Well, thanks. Don't need to. You never took any notes. Oh, I don't need to.
You see, but you do not observe. The distinction is quite clear. That's precisely what it is. This guy, this military detective, has such an engaged mindset where he's not giving himself up to the fact that notes will be there to back him up, because his brain is going to do all of the working for him, right? He keeps it all up here. And that's in the same vein that I've developed a certain hatred for the Google-based time that we live in. I don't have to do any of my thinking. It's on my phone. You know, what happens when your phone dies? What happens when your iPad dies? Everyone currently understanding, oh, what do we do in quarantine? We're stuck at home with everything at our fingertips, right? That lifestyle that we get to do, that we get our technology to do our thinking for us. Same can be said here with Jack Reacher. He is engaging with the information, with the evidence, with the people to such a degree that he is not just seeing, he's observing these details. So he's taking them in to his brain attic, as Mr. Doyle would say.
So you were some real hot shit in the army, huh? I did all right. So what does an army cop do mostly? Break up bar fights?
I did what you do pretty much, with one minor difference.
What's that?
Every suspect was a trained killer.
If that isn't it, I don't know what is.
What do you think he paid for parking?
Eliminate the impossible. That's that one thing.
Pardon?
He's about to fire 6 shots into a crowd of strangers. And he's worried about the meter maid.
Simple loony won't do it for you.
I like to have at least one alternate theory.
Inevitably, one tends to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. Right? That's the anomaly here, the paying for the parking. You could make the argument, as he's about to, in terms of muscle memory or habit, simple loony, but you need information that falls in line with his pathology at that time. And his pathology, they are being told, is that he's focused on killing these random people that are in the crowd outside of the business at the canal side area. I don't know what you'd call that in the States. So the observation of paying for parking is one of those too good to be true elements, in the same vein with medical practitioners, doctors, nurses, GPs. You know, when you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras, right? So he's being told that this is a zebra, and Reacher can't allow that to be a thing, right? The horse, the Occam's razor of the scenario, the simplest solution is more than likely the truth, is going to be the one that explains the whole thing away in the end.
Huh. Habit. Muscle memory. I don't think he knew he was doing it.
Like I said, it's damn fine work.
Hey, Army. What's the serial number on the rifle?
Which date on the quarter? 1968. Forest for the trees, detective. Forest for the trees.
He may as well have just walked away there going, you see, but you did not observe. That little byplay there is essentially two detectives saying you're not paying attention to the right thing. What's the serial number on the gun is a way for the Emerson character to, this is in my opinion, by the way, for the Emerson character to try and understand Reacher's skill set in terms of where he is. He believes that he has this unique insight in terms of these little details. That's an internal panic mode starting to come across. That's why his hands never leave his pockets in terms of the non-verbals there, right? It's an anxiety display only on a minute level, like a micro expression would be. And given that this is film media, we can take those elements in terms of poignancy and drive down their number in terms of cluster. You wouldn't take that as reliable if it were real life, say for example. So Reacher's rebuttal is, what's the date on the quarter, right? The quarter is the more important element here to him. The fact that he can pick up all of this other information only adds to the proverbial brick that he is making out of the clay, right?
Hey, Helen.
Am I wearing too much perfume?
Breathing too sternly. Detective Emerson.
Breathing too sternly. That's in terms of somebody who is the smartest guy in that room saying something to just be irritating, right? If you play the rational approach angle to that deduction, if you've recently met an attorney who you know wears the type of heel shoes that she does, the second that you hear those shoes walk in, logic would dictate it's going to be that same person that you've met in terms of the assistance that she would provide if he's just been taken to jail, yet taken on as a lead investigator as part of this case. This would be the first inference that you would draw. It's Occam's razor all over again.
Somebody dead? And if someone is? They died of shame. That was being gentle. I'm starting to understand why you move around a lot, Richard. So no one's dead? One guy likely won't ever walk right again. You want to charge me? Very much. But no one's pressing. Sadly, no. Am I free to go? Hey, Emerson. (4862681). What's that? It's a serial number. Bars rifle.
Boom! I love that, right? The serial number on Barr's rifle. Talk about demonstrating, practicing what you preach, providing proof of concept, right? You see but you do not observe. These details are quite clear, and you would never know at that moment if it's going to become a matter of relevance, so you would drink in the information anyway. The closest likeness that we can get to real life applications of that is how many cars do you see driving by where you've looked at the license plate? Yeah, the second your brainwave state changes, it's gone. This guy, Reacher, engages to such a degree, in the same way that Holmes does, with every single detail, with every single element, and stores them for further use later on. You think of those moments where you've engaged with sports that you were watching, or films that you were watching. They engage you, right? So you can come away and talk about this plot line that led to this, that led to this, that led to this, that led to this. And the second you step into a test, say, as part of your education, because you've been told that you have to memorize this or have to learn this, if it doesn't particularly engage you here or here, the details are often very challenging to come by. He's just channeled that rather into his detective work to not just see but observe everything that he does take in as part of the information that he has to process, right? Everything is relevant to make these proverbial clay bricks in order to solve the cases. And what he does, we've got part 2 of the Reacher series coming next time. So if you enjoyed that, stay tuned. As always, make sure you let me know down in the comments if there's anything more that you'd like to see, what you liked, what you didn't. If there's any topics you want any further information on, we can absolutely do that as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for further notifications and updates. And hope you all stay safe. Have a good one.